Chaos erupted in the courtroom today as Diddy's own words were played for everyone to hear, words that changed everything. No one saw this coming. When the secret audio leaked, the entire courtroom fell into stunned silence. Witnesses reported that Diddy's face turned pale as his own voice echoed through the speakers, a voice that could now be the final nail in the coffin for his case. According to insider sources, the leaked audio was recorded during private conversations that Diddy believed were confidential. The recordings, presented as evidence in court earlier today, have sent shockwaves through the proceedings.
New audio has surfaced as part of a lawsuit that accuses Christian Holmes, Sean Diddy Combs' son, of sexual assault. The music mogul is not accused of sexual assault in the lawsuit, but is included over allegations of liability and aiding and abetting. The lawsuit cites audio from a makeshift recording studio on the yacht where the alleged assault happened. This is the latest in a series of lawsuits filed against the rap mogul and businessman. Both men, father and son, deny the allegations against them. CNN national correspondent Camila Bernal joining me live with details on this. Camila, what more are you learning?
Hey, Fred. So in this audio that CNN has listened to, you can specifically hear the accuser who alleges that she was being forced to take this tequila shot that she believed was laced with drugs. And in the audio, you can hear her asking Christian Combs if she was being drugged.
Clip 2. The leaked audio reportedly captured Diddy making shocking admissions about the allegations against him. As the recording played, the courtroom erupted in gasps, with even the judge appearing visibly stunned. The evidence is said to be so damning that Diddy's legal team was left scrambling to respond. One source described the atmosphere in the courtroom as electric, with everyone hanging on to every word of the audio. But what exactly was on this leaked recording, and why is it sending shockwaves through the industry? For months, Diddy has been fighting back against these accusations, but this latest revelation could change everything.
Now, just to put things into perspective, the accuser was a crew member on the yacht. She was a bartender, and she says that shortly after this incident with the shot, she says she was cornered in a room. She says things became aggressive and physical, and then says that Christian Combs forced himself on her, and then says that it wasn't until another employee on the yacht came into this room that the abuse that she is alleging in this 31-page lawsuit stopped. And she says it only stopped because that person came into the room. Now, I want to read part of what the accuser's attorney is saying right now. What he's saying is, defendant Sean Combs turned what was sold as a wholesome family excursion into a hedonistic environment. It resulted in an unexpected increase in workload for her and for her colleagues, as well as unwanted exposure to unlawful drug use, work, and general chaos. Now,
Diddy has dismissed the case against him as baseless, but with this newly uncovered audio, everything has changed. According to sources, this isn't just any recording. It's damning. It's undeniable. Now, legal experts suggest that Diddy may have lost any chance of walking free. Social media has erupted with reactions to the leaked audio, with hashtags like #DiddyAudioLeak and #CourtroomChaos trending worldwide.
It is partially because he was leasing that yacht. Now, he is not accused of assault, but he is accused in this lawsuit of liability and aiding and abetting because he was the one renting the yacht. Now, his attorney, or actually the attorney for both men, also speaking out and denying these allegations, saying this complaint is filled with manufactured lies and irrelevant facts. We will be filing a motion to dismiss this outrageous claim. Again, they have continued to say that this is something that they will fight, that they are innocent in all of this. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out in court, if it gets to court or if it gets settled at some point, which has been the case with a previous lawsuit. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens as Diddy and his son continue to say they're innocent, and the victims here continue to say that they were assaulted, Fred.
And so while music mogul...
Fans of the music mogul are in shock and disbelief, while critics are calling the recordings a smoking gun that could finally bring justice to his accusers. The revelations have reignited debates about Diddy's innocence or guilt, with many questioning how this new evidence will impact the outcome of the case. Memes, tweets, and videos are flooding the internet as people dissect every second of the leaked audio and speculate about what it means for Diddy's future. Meanwhile, the courtroom descended into absolute chaos as the audio played.
Diddy's legal team continuing what seems like a clear strategy now, which is to put the prosecutors and the system on trial here and shift focus away from the things that Diddy allegedly did.
By the way, it worked in the O.J. Simpson.
There is a track record of this working. The latest thing they've filed now is questioning the search warrants that got federal agents permission to raid his homes in Beverly Hills and in Miami.
So what they're essentially trying to do is say that this violated the Fourth Amendment, the right against unreasonable search and seizure. If they would prevail on something like this, all that evidence would not be admissible.
And that includes, depending on your perspective, trivially or not so trivially,
You're getting to baby oil, aren't you?
all the baby oil, the cases and cases of baby oil that the feds say they found.
And more importantly, videos.
Videos which would involve at least
Gasps. Whispers. People looking around in shock. Even Diddy's own attorneys seemed caught off guard. One source claims they were frantically flipping through their case files, visibly shaken by the sudden turn of events. So, what's on the recording? Let's take a closer look at how this story unfolded. Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, was arrested and charged earlier this year following a series of allegations that have rocked the music industry. The charges range from workplace harassment to more serious claims of abuse, making this one of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory.
3 alleged victims so far that they've named in the indictment.
Right.
Although they're anonymous at this point. We know that one of them is Cassie. But if that video that they obtained is not admissible, that could change this case immensely, and I would think greatly improve Diddy's chances of winning.
Yeah, look, I mean, the raids were a centerpiece of the evidence that was gathered by the prosecution in putting together their case. So if they win this motion to suppress all that evidence, it really would present a sort of insurmountable hurdle for the prosecutors to bring their case. I think it might be a long shot, though. They're saying that the evidence put forth in these warrant requests presented a grossly distorted picture of reality, and that it didn't present a full picture of what Diddy was doing, whether some of the people who were accusing him maybe had a financial incentive, maybe some of those accusers willingly participated in freak-offs, but I'm not sure you need all of the evidence to convict him to just get a warrant. All you need is probable cause, and I think they probably had enough here.
If true, this recording could serve as direct evidence against him. Some legal analysts believe it may be part of a larger strategy by prosecutors, a carefully planned move to back Diddy into a corner with no way out. The audio, played in court earlier today, is being described as a pivotal moment in the case. In one particularly chilling segment, Diddy is heard discussing activities that closely align with the accusations made against him. The recordings also reveal a side of Diddy that the public has never seen before, leaving many stunned by the revelations.
The evidence you just need, is there evidence of a crime in there or suspicion to believe as much, and that's what was the basis for the raids.
And at the end of the day, you're still going to have Cassie on the stand, even if you can't admit that evidence from the raids. You still have Cassie telling her story.
And she's going to be so important here because, look, we know that one of the things that is going to be a centerpiece of Diddy's defense is he's going to say Cassie was a willing participant in numerous freak-offs. So you've got that, but then you got to juxtapose that with the video of Diddy beating Cassie as she was trying to leave one of the freak-offs. So that's going to be tough for them.
Yeah.
I think that it's time for Diddy to get off the mat because he's been on the mat the whole time. So I think this is the best thing he can do is go ahead and swing some punches now. And it's been used before, so I think it'll work for him, or at least for right now. We'll see what happens later.
A side that contradicts his carefully crafted image as a successful businessman and philanthropist. Legal experts are calling the recordings a game changer, suggesting they could lead to a conviction if admitted in court. The judge overseeing the case has yet to rule on the admissibility of the audio, but the damage to Diddy's public image may already be irreversible. Sources inside the courtroom say Diddy was visibly furious as the audio played, shaking his head and muttering under his breath.
And Sean Diddy Combs' attorney is in a new court filing seeking to suppress evidence in his sex trafficking case. The music mogul's lawyers challenging the legality of the search warrants that investigators used. Combs has denied wrongdoing and pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. Our ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Kaczorski has been following this, and he joins us from our New York newsroom. So, Aaron, we know that Combs' lawyers say these search warrant applications presented, quote, grossly distorted picture of reality. I know this filing was heavily redacted here, but did they offer up any more specifics about how they argue that was done?
Some. They say that the prosecutors and federal agents who ended up searching Combs's luxury homes, his electronic devices, his iCloud accounts, his hotel room here in New York after his arrest, Kana, ended up not giving the magistrate judge who signed the search warrant applications the full picture. They omitted certain facts, which may well have been helpful to Combs, according to his attorney.
Clearly panicked. Was it because he never expected this recording to surface? Social media is already exploding with reactions. Fans are divided. Some believe this is a setup, claiming the audio might be taken out of context. Others say this is proof that Diddy has been lying all along. Friends and associates of Diddy have been quick to defend him, calling the recordings fabricated and manipulated. They insist he is the victim of a smear campaign designed to tarnish his reputation.
Some accounts, some rather salacious accounts, his attorney said, from an unnamed producer that the defense says just wasn't credible. And taken together, it gave the magistrate judge a distorted picture of the case. Federal prosecutors are undoubtedly going to challenge this. They have not responded yet, but they'll do so in court papers.
Interesting. And we also know that one of Combs' attorneys is stepping away from this case, a stunning move there. What do we know about that?
Yeah, Anthony Rico asked last week to be removed from the case. He did not give a reason, although he said under no circumstance could he continue to represent Sean Combs. And just a second ago, Kana, as we were coming on the air together, the judge granted that motion. So Anthony Rico no longer represents Sean Combs. And he was an important figure on that defense team for Combs. Rico is black. He's from Harlem.
However, others close to the case suggest that the audio is credible and could have a significant impact on the outcome. The emotional toll on Diddy was evident as he sat in court, visibly shaken by the revelations. One witness described him as pale and trembling, a far cry from the confident and charismatic figure the world is used to seeing. But here's where it gets even more shocking. This leaked audio might not be the only one. Insiders are now hinting that more recordings could exist, potentially even more damaging than this one.
It was a circus. He did whatever he wanted, and we were just at his disposal.
Phil Pines was Diddy's senior executive assistant from 2019 to 2021. He says his then boss asked him to purchase supplies for parties dubbed Wild King Nights.
We usually had a laundry list of items that included lights, alcohol, ketamine, Molly. Those requests started to become more frequent.
Pines claims many of these parties involved younger women.
A lot of times you'd have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
The new interview, part of Investigation Discovery's docuseries, The Fall of Diddy.
My job is to shield his private life.
If those recordings are released, Diddy's legal team will face an impossible battle ahead. Meanwhile, prosecutors are doubling down, reportedly planning to use this new evidence to push for even harsher penalties. But this isn't just a story about Diddy. It's about the broader issues of power and accountability in the entertainment industry. The leaked audio has sparked important conversations about how victims of abuse are treated and whether the legal system is truly equipped to uncover the truth.
Going back to the lawsuit, quote, Doe began to go in and out of consciousness. He was aware of what was happening, but could not stop it. And from there, John Doe claims he was by Sean Combs in the back room of that nightclub. The complaint continues. He could not stop the assault on him. He was defenseless. To this day, Doe often has nightmares of being in the back room of the nightclub, watching as Combs takes him from behind. The next morning, Doe woke up in the apartment with his brother and friends, and he explains that when he woke up, he experienced pain in his rear and lower body. Quote, as a result of Combs' sexual assault, Doe experienced damages including pain and suffering, mental anguish, physical impairment, and emotional torment. The interaction continues to humiliate and cause shame on Doe. Now that is important in terms of harm and damages, which I'll get to in a minute, but the complaint continues because of Combs' power and notoriety, and because of Doe's own embarrassment and shame.
Some are calling for reforms to ensure that all evidence is thoroughly reviewed, while others argue that Diddy's situation is simply the consequence of his alleged actions. The case has also sparked debate about privilege and influence in the justice system, with many questioning whether Diddy's wealth and status have shielded him from accountability for too long. And now, in another shocking twist, Diddy's former associates are speaking out. Some claim they aren't surprised by the leaked audio, while others say they've been warning people about him for years.
For a number of reasons why people don't come forward earlier, aside from who the alleged perpetrator is, even if they're not a Sean Combs, there's a number of reasons. But here, the main argument is that, again, given Combs' power, his influence, his status, it is not easy coming forward against one of the biggest stars in Hollywood in the music industry. Not easy coming forward until others did. Now, to be clear, this is not to say that Combs is liable. These are only allegations. He hasn't been found liable in any of these cases. As I said, he's innocent until proven guilty. He's denied all the allegations. In fact, in a statement to people regarding this lawsuit, Combs' legal team wrote, as we've said before, Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new publicity stunt, even in response to claims that are facially ridiculous or demonstrably false. Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs never assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. That has been basically the same statement that has been released after every one of these lawsuits.
So, what happens next? Legal experts predict that Diddy's defense team will fight back aggressively, possibly challenging the authenticity of the recording. But with this kind of evidence now out in the open, the damage may already be done. As the case continues to unfold, one question looms large. What's next for Diddy? Will the leaked audio lead to a conviction, or will his legal team find a way to discredit it? And beyond the courtroom, how will this explosive revelation impact his career and legacy?
But what's interesting is that in Lil Rod's lawsuit, he actually has photos, like screenshots of a recording of Justin Combs, and he says it's allegedly with a worker. Do you think that part is incriminating too, that the feds may be looking at that recording?
I do. And during Combs' initial appearance before the new judge, Subramanian, there was some discussion of this, and Christian and Justin were in court as well, supporting their father. But the feds were talking about the 96 different electronic devices they seized and the terabytes and terabytes of data. Now, some of it might not be relevant, but some of it may be very much on point, because going back to Cassie's original allegation, Combs reportedly recorded many of these acts. It might have been for his pleasure. It might have been to maintain control over the participants. But whether it's a voluntary recording, whether it's a hotel security camera, whether it's something that Lil Rod...
For now, all eyes are on the courtroom as the world waits to see how this story unfolds. Legal experts suggest that the audio could be the tipping point in the case, potentially swaying public opinion and even influencing the judge's decision. At the same time, Diddy's team is reportedly working around the clock to counter the damaging evidence, but the road ahead looks increasingly difficult. And let's not forget, Diddy's reputation is already in freefall. Major brands are reportedly cutting ties, signaling that the fallout may only be beginning.
Things that happen behind closed doors, right? Could be at a home, could be at a hotel. In this case, could be on a yacht. And usually there aren't a whole lot of witnesses to it. So you will have a he said, she said type situation in many, many cases. Well, a recording can really change that narrative because, again, it can really corroborate the story of one side or the other.
In regards to Justin specifically and these alleged recordings, audio, all of that, so that's in relation to Lil Rod's lawsuit. He's actually a co-defendant listed quite a few times throughout this. And in addition to him sitting next to this alleged prostitute, we have that photo. There's also allegations that he actually partook in these freak-offs and potentially drugged women. This is something Lil Rod is saying. How would the feds go about proving something like that? I know that's the pattern we've seen across a lot of these civil suits, that women allege Diddy, for instance, drugged them. But now Lil Rod's also pointing the finger at Justin Combs, saying he drugged some of these women. How would the feds then go to look further into that?
Former friends are distancing themselves, and with this leaked audio circulating everywhere, it's only a matter of time before even more shocking details emerge. Could this be the final piece that seals Diddy's fate, or will his legal team pull off a miracle defense? One thing is certain, this case is far from over.
After everyone saw them in handcuffs. So what do you make of the remarks of Misa Hilton? What do you make of the fact of what Sean Combs' son posted on Instagram, and also the timing of the Grace O'Markey lawsuit?
Yeah, so first of all, about Misa Hilton's statement, all I have to say is cry me a river, to say that this has anything to do with race when Bernie Madoff's entire family was decimated by his, grift and Ponzi scheme that he was running on the New York elite. His sons were raided as well in public, and they were grown men, just like how Misa Hilton's son is a grown man, and all of Diddy's sons are adult men, 26 and up into their 30s. And so, unfortunately, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. But when law enforcement is doing a raid on allegations of trafficking.
And with more leaks expected to drop, the worst may still be yet to come. Beyond a courtroom, the leaked audio has also had a profound impact on Diddy's family and close associates, adding yet another layer of complexity to an already explosive case.